Airport security includes the techniques and methods used in an attempt to protect passengers, staff, aircraft, and airport property from malicious harm, crime, terrorism, and other threats. Aviation security is a combination of measures and human and material resources in order to safeguard civil aviation against acts of unlawful interference. Unlawful interference could be acts of terrorism, sabotage, threat to life and property, communication of false threat, bombing, etc. Description: large numbers of people pass through airports every day. This presents potential targets for terrorism and other forms of crime because of the number of people located in one place. Similarly, the high concentration of people on large airliners increases the potentially high death rate with attacks on aircraft, and the ability to use a hijacked airplane as a lethal weapon may provide an alluring target for terrorism, such as during the September 11 attacks. Airport security attempts to prevent any threats or potentially dangerous situations from arising or entering the country. If airport security does succeed, then the chances of any dangerous situation, illegal items, or threats entering into an aircraft, country or airport are greatly reduced. As such, airport security serves several purposes: to protect the airport and country from any threatening events, to reassure the traveling public that they are safe, and to protect the country and their people. Travelers are prohibited to pass the security checkpoint with liquids, including water, that are over 100 milliliters, 3.4 US FLOs. This is due to the risk of liquid explosives such as nitroglycerin, which is colorless and indistinguishable from water. It is undetectable with the security X-ray and would pose great threat if brought on board. Monty R. Belger of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration notes the goal of aviation security is to prevent harm to aircraft, passengers, and crew, as well as support national security and counter-terrorism policy. Airport Enforcement Authority. While some countries may have an agency that protects all of their airports, such as Australia, in which the Australian Federal Police polices the airport, in other countries the protection is controlled at the state or local level. The primary personnel will vary and can include a police force hired and dedicated to the airport, e.g. the Irish Airport Police Service. A branch, substation, of the local police department stationed at the airport. Members of the local police department assigned to the airport as their normal patrol area. Members of a country's airport protection service, e.g., USTSA. Police dog services for explosive detection, drug detection, and other purposes. Other resources may include security guards, paramilitary forces, military forces. Process and equipment. How advanced imaging technology works at the TSA. Some incidents have been the result of travelers carrying either weapons or items that could be used as weapons on board aircraft so that they can hijack the plane. In passenger security screening, travelers are screened by metal detectors and slash or millimeter wave scanners. Explosive detection machines used include X-ray machines and explosives trace detection portal machines, aka puffer machines. In some cases, detection of explosives can be automated using machine learning techniques. In the United States, the TSA is working on new scanning machines that are still effective, searching for objects that are not allowed in the airplanes but that do not depict the passengers in a state of undress that some find embarrassing. Explosive detection machines can also be used for both carry-on and checked baggage. These detect volatile compounds given off from explosives using gas chromatography. Computed tomography and walk-through body scanning, THZ radiation, may also be done. Artificial intelligence systems are also being used, for example for translation service on information stations around the airport and for reducing the time airplanes spend at the gate between flights, by monitoring and analyzing everything that happens after the aircraft lands. In the future, it may also be used in conjunction with CT machines and THZ radiation detectors. It may also be used for use with biometric deployment across touchpoints and of new solutions, such as risk-based screening and intelligent video analytics. A recent development is the controversial use of backscatter X-rays to detect hidden weapons and explosives on passengers. These devices, which use Compton scattering, require that the passenger stand close to a flat panel and produce a high-resolution image. A technology released in Israel in early 2008 allows passengers to pass through metal detectors without removing their shoes, a process required as walk-through gate detectors are not reliable in detecting metal in shoes or on the lower body extremities. Alternately, the passengers step fully showed onto a device which scans in under 1.2 seconds for objects as small as a razor blade. In some countries, specially trained individuals may engage passengers in a conversation to detect threats rather than solely relying on equipment to find threats. A single backscatter scan exposes the target to between 0.05 and 0.1 microsievert of radiation. In comparison, the exposure from a standard chest X-ray is almost 100 times higher. While airport security measures are crucial for ensuring passenger safety, they inadvertently introduce hygiene challenges. A study at Helsinki-Vantaa Airport during the 2015 to 2016 flu season pinpointed the plastic security screening trays, frequently used in security checks, as a significant vector for the spread of respiratory viruses. The study emphasizes the need for enhanced sanitation practices in these areas. Generally, people are screened through airport security into areas where the exit gates to the aircraft are located. These areas are often called secure, sterile and airside, in contrast to landside outside security. Passengers are discharged from airliners into the sterile area so that they usually will not have to be rescreened if disembarking from a domestic flight, however, they are still subject to search at any time. Airport food outlets have started using plastic cups and utensils as opposed to cups made out of glass and utensils made out of metal to reduce the usefulness of such items as weapons. Many airports issue an airside pass to their employees, a secure keycard that allows employees to enter the secure area. Employees requiring an airside pass are subject to numerous security checks, including a criminal records check and proof of identity. They are of course not allowed to use it when they shall fly themselves. Also, aircraft crew shall be screened. In the United States, non-passengers were once allowed on the concourses to meet arriving friends or relatives at their gates, but this is now greatly restricted due to the September 11 terrorist attacks. Non-passengers must obtain a gate pass to enter the secure area of the airport. The most common reasons that a non-passenger may obtain a gate pass is to assist children and the elderly, as well as for attending business meetings that take place in the secure area of the airport. In the United States, at least 24 hours notice is generally required for those planning to attend a business meeting inside the secure area of the airport. Other countries, such as Australia, do not restrict non-travelers from accessing the airside area. However, non-travelers are typically subject to the same security scans as travelers. Sensitive areas in airports, including airport ramps and operational spaces, are restricted from the general public. Called a SIDA, Security Identification Display Area, these spaces require special qualifications to enter. Systems can consist of physical access control gates or more passive systems that monitor people moving through restricted areas and sound an alert if a restricted area is entered. Throughout the world, there have been a few dozen airports that have instituted a version of a trusted traveler program. Proponents argue that security screening can be made more efficient by detecting those people who are threats and then searching them. They argue that searching trusted, verified individuals should not take the amount of time it does. Critics argue that such programs decrease security by providing an easier path to carry contraband through. Another critical security measure used by several regional and international airports is that of fiber optic perimeter intrusion detection systems. These security systems allow airport security to locate and detect any intrusion on the airport perimeter, ensuring real-time, immediate intrusion notification that allows security personnel to assess the threat and track movement and engage necessary security procedures. This has notably been utilized at Dulles International Airport and U.S. military JAVPAS. Notable incidents. On May 30, 1972, 3 members of the Japanese Red Army undertook a terrorist attack, popularly called the Lod Airport Massacre, at the Lod Airport, now known as the Ben Gurion International Airport, in Lod. Firing indiscriminately with automatic firearms and throwing grenades, they managed to kill 24 people and injure 78 others before being neutralized, one of them through suicide. One of the three terrorists, Kozo Akamoto, survived the incident. The world's first terrorist attack while in flight was Cubana Flight 455 on October 6, 1976, when the airliner flying from Barbados to Jamaica was brought down by two-time bombs, killing 73 people. Evidence implicated several Central Intelligence Agency-linked anti-Castro Cuban exiles and members of the Venezuelan secret police DIZIP, including Luis Posada Carriles. The single deadliest airline catastrophe resulting from the failure of airport security to detect an onboard bomb was Air India Flight 182 in 1985, which killed 329 people. Another onboard bomb that slipped through airport security was the one on Pan Am Flight 103 in 1988, which killed 270 people, 259 on the plane, and 11 residents of Lockerbie, Scotland. Another notable failure was the 1994 bombing of Philippine Airlines Flight 434, which turned out to be a test run for a planned terrorist attack called Operation Bojinka. The explosion was small, killing one person, and the plane made an emergency landing. Operation Bojinka was discovered and foiled by Manila police in 1995. The Rome and Vienna airport attacks in December 1985 were two more instances of airport security failures. The attacks left 20 people dead when gunmen threw grenades and opened fire on travelers at El Al airline ticket counters. The September 11 attacks are the most widely recognized terrorist attacks in recent times involving air travel. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 members of the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda took control of 4 airplanes on the east coast of the United States and deliberately crashed 2 into both World Trade Center towers in New York City and the third into the Pentagon in Arlington County, Virginia. A fourth plane crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, not reaching Washington, D.C., for its intended target, either the U.S. Capitol or the White House. The attacks resulted in the deaths of 2,996 people, including the 245 civilians, a law enforcement officer, and the 19 hijackers on board the 4 airplanes. On July 5, 2002, a gunman opened fire at Los Angeles International Airport, Israel's El Al ticket counter. The shooter killed 2 people and injured 4. On August 10, 2006, security at airports in the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States was raised significantly due to the uncovering by British authorities of a terror plot aimed at detonating liquid explosives on flights originating from these countries. This is also notable as it was the first time the U.S. terror alert level ever reached red. The incident also led to tighter restrictions on carrying liquids and gels in hand luggage in the EU, Canada, and the United States. On May 7, 2020, Southwest Airlines Flight 1392 struck and killed a trespassing pedestrian while landing on runway 17R at Austin, Bergstrom International Airport. No injuries were reported to the 53 passengers and 5 crew aboard the aircraft. The victim, who was not a badged airport employee, was subsequently confirmed to have breached airport security in reaching the runway. The accident is under investigation. Airport security can be daunting, particularly when you're not well versed. Long queues, rigid rules, and last-minute checks can leave you feeling overwhelmed. However, don't worry. With the proper knowledge and preparation, you can breeze through security and start your trip on a positive note. This guide will help you learn about airport security and give you tips to get through the process more efficiently. 1. Arrive early. Flying. Getting to the airport early will help you not get lost in the crowds. At airports, it's all about hustle and bustle, the planes are coming in and out, and people are dashing to their departure gates. The security line can be longer than foreseen, and so it might be difficult for people to get through. A person must fix his security pass, which will be his ticket to enter the gate first. Moreover, he should have finished his baggage check much earlier than the security check started. At least 2 hours before departure for local and international flights and at least 3 hours before departure will be enough for you. To do everything without any problems, I suggest you arrive 2 hours before your national flight and 3 hours before your international flight. This will give you some waiting time for the security check as well as a quicker way to get through the lines that are not as frequent during the day as others. Pro tip: the best time to fly is during the holiday period or in the morning, as the queue at the security gate is usually very long. Peaks mean a long wait time for the security line at most airports. To know what you can and can't bring. Before you get to the airport, know the regulations regarding what you can bring in your carry-on. Here are the most important guidelines. Liquids: you can only bring liquids packed in containers of not more than 100 ml and placed into a transparent, resealable plastic bag. Medications: if you need to bring liquid medication when it exceeds the limit, kindly report it to the security officers, who might want to check it, but you can still be granted permission to carry it along. Food: you can bring sandwiches with you as they are solid foods, but you will be questioned about spreadable foods, for example, peanut butter or jam. If available, it's wiser to load them in the checked luggage. Electronics: laptops, tablets, and the like, which are the more significant electronics, should be moved away from your bag and placed on a separate tray for the X-ray to do their job. Pro tip: always contact your airline company or the airport security guidelines, as they can be modified. 3. Dress smart and comfortable. One of the most common things they have for you to do when you go through security is to take off your shoes, belt, and jacket. The boys who are picked out to be searched are told to hand out their shoes quickly and then put them on again, as this process can be time-consuming. Avoid shoes that clasp at the ankles, scrunch up like a dress shoe, or have significant heels, as they contribute to a decline in your speed. Keep clothing uncomplicated and do not wear bulky clothes or metal things, such as large buckles, as these might set off alarms during the scan. Pro tip: a good suggestion is to wear slip-on shoes and lessen the number of jewelry you wear. This is a hassle because it sometimes becomes so hard to change all these things now and then. 4. Understanding the security process. The step-by-step method of getting through airport security is the key to it, and people who know what to deal with it will do the process easily. Check in: after you arrive, go to the airline counter and check in. Leave luggage that needs to be checked. Do ensure that you have your boarding pass and ID with you. Security check: the security guards will require you to show your boarding pass and ID. Then, the screeners will be checked for carry-on bags, electronics, and other personal items by an X-ray machine. Body scanners and metal detectors: you will pass through a body scanner or a metal detector. Sometimes, you might trigger alarms, which means a second screening is required. But it is always okay, and in fact, it is a part of the safety norm. Pro tip: mount your ID and boarding pass in a place that will go with your hand when asked, so you can answer quickly. 5. Be ready for random checks. Even if you comply with all the regulations, you may get randomly chosen for an additional check for unknown reasons. This may include a swab test for explosives or a pat-down. This is common and does not mean you have made a mistake. Remember to keep calm and do what the officers tell you, you will be done in no time. Pro tip: do not be worried if you are selected for random checks. It's part of the standard procedure and helps ensure everyone's safety. 6. Patience is key. Security checks can be demanding and disturbing during peak hours. However, it is an everyday occurrence in such a situation. Show patience and be quiet, but at the same time, do not forget to be organized so that you can stay full of energy. Pro tip: get a book or one of your favorite things to have something with you to pass the waiting time in the line. Staying calm will help you get through the process faster. 7. Special items: what to know. Some items are more difficult to be allowed through the screening process, such as those that require additional attention. Duty-free purchases: If you buy items like liquids at duty-free shops, ensure the items are sealed in a unique bag with a receipt. You will need to show the items and the receipt during security screening. Sports equipment and musical instruments, large items like guitars or sports equipment need to be checked in with your airline before the flight. Be sure to check your airline's policy on large or fragile items. Pro tip: the easiest way to deal with large/tender items is to check them in. It's primarily critical in preventing long delays through the security check-in. 8. Traveling during off-peak hours. Traveling during non-peak times can simplify your security checks by giving you more space. Early mornings, weekends, holidays, and the increased passenger traffic stand out as the busier times for airlines. If convenient, reserve a flight for midday or evening when airports are less congested. Pro tip: traveling during the least crowded periods, in turn, will maximize airport users' benefits of braving shorter lines at the checkpoints and enjoying more serene airport atmospheres. 9. Stay updated on security rules. Be aware of the ever-changing airport security rules because it is a great idea to get information directly from the airport's official website or from your airline's website before departure. Check if any new rules, e.g. prohibited items, to be aware of or changes to the security screening process are necessary. Pro tip: you are better off checking the latest security information before you leave to avoid any confusion and thus make a trip go smoother. 10. Know the airport layout. Learning the airport layout is another great idea to save time and make the journey much more convenient for you. Nowadays, several airports distribute maps and apps that you can use to move through security, baggage claim, and gate areas. Congruently, mapping out where the essentials are will allow you to have a much better experience getting through the airport, and you won't have the sharp edges of irritation poking out of all the stressful spots. Pro tip: by glancing at the airport map or getting the airport's app uploaded, you will find the most direct path through security and to your gate. Final thoughts. Airport security may appear to be a big problem, but it is easier to handle if you know what to expect. Planning, packing accurately, and following the rules make the whole process more relaxed. Learn to keep calm and wait for your turn wherever it is, and of course, before you go, make it a point to look up what's new. By practicing these simple methods, your airport screening will become more smooth, and you can prepare to take off in time. Thank you for watching this video.